Alright everyone, how's it going? We're back. I finished the barbecue. I had some delicious food. And now I'm back to talk about SMIT, the trade where I made $600 US within 4 seconds of the market open. So, let's go over it. Let's go over everything, the entry, the exit, the thought process. Let's go through it. So, we'll go over the video again from this morning. So, Smit, this is what Smit looked like pre-market. So, a couple things that I noticed that were huge was, okay, so one of the first things I look at is where it is on the gap list. So, you can't see it here because it's behind the camera. Let me just move the camera actually so you can see it. Whoa, okay, so right here we can see it's gapping up 46%. So it already has a huge gap on the day, and it's the leading gapper of the day. So everyone's watching Smit. You can pretty much guarantee everyone's watching it because it's on the top of the list. Past that, I don't have float, but I have shares outstanding. So I know that the float is under 4 million. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 million, or somewhere in between. So a very, very low float. So this thing can move quickly, very quickly, because it doesn't take a lot of buying for this thing to go from 350 to 360. We can see here on the level 2, there's only 5,000 shares available. And we know that one single candle in 1 minute can have upwards of 2, 3, 4, 500,000 shares traded. So that's what I was looking for there. So let's move this thing back over. I hope that's... Uh-oh. Oh, it's locking to the bottom of the screen. I think that's where it was. So, okay, so past that, we've identified that Smit is probably going to be the stock in play. Everyone's going to be watching it because it's gapping up, and it has the potential to make a huge move. So now I'm thinking, all right, now that we know that, where do I get in? And what is my plan? How am I going to make a shitload of money on this stock? That's the next question. So we have to identify levels on the chart. So here on the chart, the biggest level that I can see, so we're gapping up here at to 345, and we're above this level right here on the daily, which I'm not sure what it is. I think it was this one right here. So if I look down here, I can see the high of the candle there. You can look, if you look down there, it's 332. So I put this line at 332. So now that line is right there. So if we hold 332, then we're above the resistance level on the daily. So again, pre-market, it kind of looked like that, if you remember in the video. Kind of looked a little bit like this. Oh my god, come on. So it looked a little bit like that. So we were above 332 is what I'm trying to get at here. So we're above 332. So the next target, the next resistance is the pre-market high. I marked that out here at 370. It's the high that it's made this morning. It made it at between 7:15 and 7:30 here, like 7:18 or something. It doesn't really matter when. That is the next resistance. And then the resistance after that, well, we don't have any resistance. We don't have any resistance all the way up here to 447. You can see all of this resistance is below 370, below the levels that we're at right now. And not only that, we're above the 200 moving average. We're above all of this crap in here. So if anyone is short in here, they're looking for the best possible exit so they don't blow up their account. And there's also longs who are trying to buy in and ride the momentum on the way up. So that's what attributes to the buying of the stock, both from the longs and the shorts covering. So with that said, and the fact that we know that this stock can move very, very quickly, I thought that as we were consolidating up in these levels, you can see it's 921 in the corner here. Since we were consolidating here around 350, and yesterday, the day before this, we saw Pran, or was it, no, not Pran, Pran? Or CPAH, the stock where I made a lot of money at the open again. It was a similar stock, thinly traded, looked great on the daily, and it made this huge move out of the open. So with that in mind, people were also remembering that and thinking that Smit could be the next that. So they're going to jump in a little preemptively, and that's exactly what happened today. So my first entry here was with 800 shares. I saw we were kind of curling up here, and we were just kind of just consolidating in here for a little bit, but then I was going to be a buyer if we broke through 350. Typically, whole dollars and half dollars, as I'm sure you've heard, whether it's from Ross or someone else, are very important psychological levels. So that said, finally there was people buying this stock, so I saw the interest in this stock. People probably were thinking the same thing I was thinking and wanted to buy it up before it made the move. So we pushed up, we pulled back, and this pullback was bought up by more people, and people were finally stacking here on the bid. You can see people are trying to buy this stock and get in at the best price, whereas before you could see them stacking up here to 10,000 shares, 2,000 shares, 2,400 shares, 500, 400, 500, 2,000 shares. So these are all strong signs. And I know that typically you don't have a lot of time to decipher this information, but that's what was going through my head. So I said, okay, for the break of 350, that will be my first entry. And this is pre-market. This is 921 or 922. So we can see, let me go right to the point where I got in. So we can see here, right as I saw that 1,000 share bid, right above the 1,500 share bid, I thought that was a great time to buy, and I saw those shares being bought up at 350. So I put in my order. I bought 800 shares at 350. I bought the remaining shares, and then from there we just jumped up to 352. Someone bought up all of those shares, and now we're up at 359. So if you watch that real time, it happened very quickly, and I was already up 10 cents or so. But I'm only at, sorry, my throat's kind of messed up. So I'm only at like half position because, you know, I'm not completely sure in this, and this could just drop at the open, and I don't want to be overexposed. So I was waiting for confirmation. We can see here the stock ended up moving higher and higher, and we were getting really close to that resistance level of the high of day, 370. So for some reason I tried to sell my shares. In hindsight, that was a bad idea. I'm glad that nobody bought those up. The shorts are starting to come in. You can see all of these sellers here on the ask, 2,000 shares, 5,000 shares, 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares. And this doji candle here shows that there's an imbalance between the buyers and sellers. People aren't really sure what they're going to do because we just made the move up from 330. But consolidating near the highs right before the open is super probable that it will shoot through the open, because we came down here and now we're kind of making our way back up, and then if we consolidate there, it's kind of a cup and handle formation. You can Google it if you don't know what that is. It's a very common bullish stock pattern. So I saw that forming. So that was all reinforcement for my plan too. Now, here, I wasn't about to buy in for this break yet. I was ready to buy at 370 the rest of my shares because I didn't know if we would have a pullback. But instead what happened here was we rejected the high. So we came back up. It was rejected. And what am I doing here? So it comes back down, and it's holding this kind of breakout spot. So I say this might be my only chance to go full size. So I go full size in this area. We drop back down to where it broke out. So where I took my initial shares at 350, that was a critical level. So what's critical now is that 350 is being bought back up because we have a big red candle. Doesn't really look that good. Now the reason I'm switching around, looking through the other stocks here, if you look again at the gap scanner, I'm making sure none of these names are stealing the momentum or the attention from SMIT. So all of these stocks look like crap. Their charts look like crap. So I'm thinking, all right, all of the attention is still on Smit, so maybe we'll get buyers coming back in. And then this will push it through the high of day to the next target. So sure enough, this hammer candle indicates massive strength. That dip got completely bought up. And someone popped in here. Someone popped up here with 10,000 shares at 355. So again, this is all just confirming my plan that at the open we're going to have a huge spike. Most likely up towards $4 because there's no resistance on the daily after 370, which is the high that it made this morning. So with that said, we are we're really close to the open right now, 929. We're slowly creeping higher and higher towards 370. There's 2,500 shares on the bid here. Now the reason I'm not worried about these shares on the ask, so we have we only have about 9,400 shares between here and 388. 9,400 shares is nothing. Like one trader could take a position that big easily. So with that doji candle and with that, you know, we start pushing through this high of day and the market's not even open yet. Again, I try and lock in some of my shares to maybe rebuy later. But then I say again to myself, okay, now that we're above these levels, if 370 holds, again, anyone who's short has to cover and not get fucked. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but I just did. So they need to find the best price to cover without it squeezing even further, and then they lose more and more money. And on top of that, like I said, longs like myself who are not short just buy in and ride the momentum. So I give it time. The market is now open. We start to surge through 80, and then once we surge through 80, we're all the way up towards $4. Now my target, like I said, these important psychological levels are $3.50, $4, so half dollars and whole dollars. So from my entry, my average price was $3.56. My target was around $4. Now I gave it a couple seconds just to make a move. I didn't get greedy. And I had a feeling there would be a big seller at $4. So there's 13,000 shares available at, or sorry, of a seller at $4. So I locked in all of my shares to just get in the move and get out. And then I can reevaluate what happens after because I don't want to sit through a pullback. Maybe I could have only sold 1,500 shares and held on, but that was just my strategy today. So let's watch that in real time. So again, pre-market, this kind of starts to squeeze through 70. All the shorts kind of have to cover and the momentum buyers are buying in. I can see some printing on my time and sales. My time and sales really sucks. But anyways, we're jumping here on the ask now. I try and get some shares out. I'll tell you when the market's open. Excuse me. So now we have a high of 380. So the market's open, boom, 380, we break 380 and we're off to the races and I'm already out. And you can see here, 4 seconds after market open, I'm out and I have a realized gain of $713, $14 US, which is awesome. So much like yesterday, there was a secondary move. So what I tried to do was get in for that as $4 was holding. But I saw a bit of resistance and it didn't go through, so I don't know, I sold out because it was consolidating here and I was waiting to get back in. Here, let me turn the brightness on my camera up a little too. Right here. Oh, that's way too bright. Okay, so we'll start with that. So again, if we now I'm not going to go over my other trades. I took a bunch of trades on this. I tried to dip buy it here into support, and I ended up bailing out of that and stuff. But I want to just keep it simple for this video. Please let me know if this was helpful. I'm sure it's going to be helpful and show you guys some things. But let me go over now on my actual broker what I was thinking, because here it is very crucial. Or is it crucial? Because right, so the 1 minute setup. So pre-market, this is what the 1 minute setup looked like. we had that massive doji candle right here, which is a very bullish sign. It was on high volume, and so after that, the next candle to make a new high after this this 350 breakout point, you can see it came up, it came down. This got bought up immensely, and then the first 1 minute candle to make a new high would be here at 361. So after 361, we blasted through. We just blasted through the previous highs right here. So that could have been a target, but these have the potential to move much further because of what I said before. It's very thinly traded. There's not a lot of stuff on the level 2. I mean, there is now because this is after hours, but in the video that I just showed you, it was very thin, and it didn't take a lot of buying to make it move quickly. So that's how I was able to capture like 40 cents, 50 cents in a matter of seconds after the open. So actually the 5-second chart is only useful for other trades, so I won't show that. I think that'll be all I show for Smit. I did take more trades on it. I lost a little, and then I gained a little bit back. It was here on the 1 minute setup, but I'm just going to go over that opening range kind of breakout trade. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, if you liked that, if you didn't like it, if you want more information on the level 2 or how I'm reading it or anything like that, just let me know. So with that, let's go into tomorrow strong, and thank you for watching.